What up, guys? Welcome to Circ Podcast number 6. This podcast is going to be a little bit different. I'm doing a solo podcast because I feel like sometimes you got to just let your thoughts out. I'm not really a fan of keeping a journal or anything like that because I think journals, first off, they're inconvenient to write in. I like to talk and say my thoughts out loud. But a journal, you have to write everything down. And I feel like life is so... You can't capture that much in just words, in my opinion. I feel like me talking right now, if you tried putting this onto a piece of paper, it would sound super, basic or boring or whatnot. But, I'm just not a journal person. And I always thought about keeping a journal, but I figured, you know what? I think podcasts are, the best thing you can use to capture all context on basically your life at that point. And I kind of am going to use these to reflect on my life and think about stuff and then document it so it's recorded and on YouTube basically forever until I delete it or something. But anyways, it's December 23rd, Monday, December 23rd. We have a flight tomorrow at Orlando, or we're leaving from here in California to Orlando. And I'm honestly kind of excited because the last time I flew was December, basically about a year ago, December around this time. And me and my brother went to New York. It was honestly really dope because we went for 5 days and it was, for the most part, the trip went perfect. We didn't have any serious issues. We went there, checked basically everything we needed to check out, and we left after that. And I think if you don't get some travel in, it gets kind of repetitive and boring wherever you're at. You know what I mean? I was supposed to travel this past summer, but I didn't because of I was just preparing for this one test, and it just was super hectic and whatnot. But it is what it is. But anyways, I want to talk about something that's kind of sad. But my dog also passed away. That was, honestly, I think the weirdest thing about my dog passing away is that it doesn't even seem realistic. It seems so fake because, he used to be in the backyard just playing all day long. His name was Oakley, and literally you would catch him playing outside all the time. He would just be ready to play. Every time I'd come downstairs and go to his room, which was the laundry room, he'd be up and ready to play, and he'd be super excited. And it's kind of sad because even in my phone, when I first got him, I have so many videos and everything like that of him, but he's just gone. We got him on July 8th of 2019, and then he just kind of disappeared 4 or 5 months after, you know what I mean? Not literally disappeared, but he wasn't there anymore because he passed away. And it was honestly it was pretty devastating the way he passed away. I woke up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. I think it was 4 a.m. and I heard him screaming, and it was it sounded really bad. So I was like, holy crap. And this is my biggest regret, is because I took kind of some time to sort of analyze the situation. I threw on my shirt. That was a stupid move. I threw on a shirt and put my flashlight on because it scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up and there was just this screaming. It sounded super bad, as if my dog was getting strangled or something. And then I was like, all right, he's in serious trouble. So me and my brother wake up, and I see him come out of his room, and I'm like, dude, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. And then our dog just stops screaming. It stopped 3 seconds before he even got to his room. And then it was the saddest thing. I just see him with his tongue out, laying out, and it was just, man, that was devastating. We had him for about 4 months, and it's weird. Dogs, the weird thing about dogs is they bring this weird life to whatever house you're in. You know what I mean? If you have a house and you think it's boring, which I always thought my house has always been boring, because I know there's people out there who live with their grandparents and whatnot, or cousins. I feel like that somewhat adds a little bit of spice to your life, because now you have, I guess, people around you to hang out with and socialize. And it was in my family. It was kind of hard because my parents are always working and whatnot, and then me and all my brothers are all like in that phase of school where things are really important. So you're either just, for the most part, you're either stuck in your room or like out of the house. You know what I mean? So the dog. The weird thing about the dog is that I made time. Like no matter what, I'd make time to go hang out with the dog, and it's just sad because I'd go downstairs every day for the past 4 months, and he'd just be chilling there, and he'd always have this is what he sounded like. That's what he sounded like, and he was breathing so fast all the time, and man, that's crazy. Like, and the worst thing about like just death in general is like when someone dies, they're gone forever. Like you're not gonna see them again, But man, this podcast took a quick turn. But anyways, it's sad that Oakley passed away, but we're taking some time before we get another dog because he passed away on December 2nd. So it's been basically 3 weeks since he's passed away. And I'm not gonna lie, the first week was tough as hell. Like, it was just hard to do anything because he was just gone, and it's kind of a traumatic experience for me because if I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I haven't gone through anything super traumatic in my life, like the death of a parent or having someone in my family with cancer or anything like that. I haven't experienced it like firsthand. I'm pretty sure it's probably happened, but I haven't experienced it. So, like, our dog Oakley dying, man, it's crazy. I just want to say, Oakley, rest in peace, Oakley Oakster. I used to call him Fatty. I used to talk to him in the Mickey Mouse. Oh my god, I'm about to do this on the podcast, but I used to talk to him in Mickey Mouse. This is what I sound like when I talk to him. I'd be like, every time I'd come downstairs and I'd see him, this is what I sound like. Ready? 3, 2. Hey man, what's up, man? You wanna go play? Let's go play outside. Hey, look, man, I got your toys. Hey, you want some food, man? You kind of hungry? Hey man, what's up, man? That's exactly what I sound. I sound like I went to Mickey Mouse real quick, like in a second every time I saw him. Like, I don't know, it just felt appropriate to talk to him like that, But anyways, it's sad that he's gone. We're probably, I think the best way to get over it is, like, a lot of people are telling me to get a new dog, and it feels weird, like getting another dog after your old dog just passed away. I don't know, it just, especially when you only had him for 5 months, you know what I mean? But it felt kind of weird to get a dog right after. Like, it's just a replacement. Like, you get another dog like a few weeks or something after. It just feels weird. So we're probably gonna wait like maybe 2-3 months from now. But if I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I don't know if it's gonna happen because dogs are like, they take some time, especially when you first get the dogs. You have to wait forever. Like, I remember when we got our dog Oakley, it was July 8th, so we weren't in school, so it was super easy to get everything done. But I think now if we get it in like 2-3 months, we're still gonna be in school. So then he's gonna have appointments. Like, we went to the vet probably 4 times in the first few weeks we had him. I think 4 or 5 times, like back and forth for like showers, to buy him like a collar or get him that leash or take him to the vet because he needs something. You know what I mean? Or get food. Like, it was just so many visits to the pet store because you gotta like figure out what your dog needs and what your dog, what works and what doesn't work for them. But yeah, we're hopefully we get another dog. I think having a dog, like, it's hard to I remember back in middle school and whatnot, people would always be talking about like how, oh, my dog passed away, and in the moment, like, I didn't really. It's not that I didn't care. It's just I didn't understand. Like, I didn't know what they were going through, so I didn't really stress about it, and I never was like, oh, dude, like, I'm so sorry, like, totally understand. Like, I never had that serious. I had sympathy, but I didn't have empathy because I had never gone through it. So, just a life tip, and I might butcher this, so I apologize, but apparently sympathy is when you feel sorry for someone and you're trying to, I guess, feel what they feel, but you haven't gone through it yourself. And empathy is when you've literally gone through it yourself and you're trying to help I guess, feel what they're feeling too. You know what I mean? So now it's easy for me to empathize with a lot, because most people here in California, a lot of people have dogs, so it's easier to empathize. And a lot of people told me like, oh, my dogs died and whatnot, and it's nice to be able to know that it's not just me. Like, it's not just, you're struggling through this, so it's not just you. Because I think that's what it kind of felt like, if you know what I mean. But anyways, so I'm still on that Chipotle grind, bro. That's crazy. I eat there so much. But one thing I wanted to talk about, I've always had beef with tipping. And I know it's random as hell, but I've always had beef with tipping only because I think it's so lazy on... Sorry, I just saw something. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it's so lazy on the employer's part, because now you have to... Like, if you're gonna sell something at $10, why do I have to pay more money? Like, that's just screwing me over, like, twice. You know what I mean? Like, I went to P.F. Chang's, and they had their shrimp dish for, like, $18. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's expensive as hell, but, like... And it wasn't even that much food, but I was like, you know what? We're here, so I guess we'll get it, And in the back of my head, I was like, there's no way we can tip for this. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. It's just, it cost $18. Like, why would I give more money for something that I'm not supposed to? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's lazy. I think people who employ these people that are working, they should be in charge of their wages. If you're not paying them enough, like, why is it put on the consumer? Never made any sense to me. And I feel like, especially when I was a kid, I feel like this idea of tipping, it's what it probably had some bias in the way, like, I was treated, Like, if you're a kid, if you're, like, in middle school or something, and you go to a restaurant, you're gonna bet that they're not gonna treat you the same as someone who came in with their whole family, you know what I mean? Like, it's like tipping shifts people's incentive to work hard, and that's what I don't like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a job, like, are you gonna do less of, like, you're getting paid to do this job, and you're gonna not do it as good because I'm not giving you more money than you're supposed to get? Like, that's like going to a barber and expecting him not to do his best because he thinks you're not gonna tip him the most. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's complete bullshit, and I think it's ridiculous. But another thing about tipping that I didn't like is that there's jobs that actually need tipping, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people that are working in Cheesecake Factory need it as much as someone who's a janitor at, like, the restaurant, scraping pots in the back, you know what I mean? Like, that literally blows my mind. Like, we tip the people that bring the food to us, but we don't tip the people in the back scrubbing the freaking pots. Like, what? That makes no sense to me at all. Like, at all. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm cool with tipping as long as it's, like, acceptable for everybody, but it's not acceptable for everybody. It's just, I think it's a way for employers to be lazy. Because the only places that are going to get tipped are, like, restaurants, your taxi and Uber drivers. You're going to tip them probably. And then your, like, barbershop. And, like, that's about it. But, like, those aren't even, like, if we're going to be real here, those aren't even the world's hardest jobs. So, like, what are we really doing in the end? You know what I mean? Like, there's some really difficult jobs, and we're tipping a dude who has to drop me off from one place to another. And I understand life gets hard, but I think either ban tipping and pay the people the correct amount they need to make, or make it acceptable for everybody. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. Like, you can't really argue that, but, I still think it's weird to me. Like, I might change my mind again. This podcast is not, like, set in stone, my opinion. That's what I like about this podcast, because I can see how my opinion shifts, even if I may feel super strong about something in that moment. Like, right now, as of right now, I think tipping is kind of stupid. Because sorry, I heard something again. Anyways, yeah, like I said, it's just so weird. And speaking of restaurant experiences, I was at In-N-Out the other day on this was like yesterday actually. This was the weirdest thing ever. So I pull up, right? And I'm literally just chilling there, and I see this girl, she looks really sad. I don't know why. Like, you're working at In-N-Out, but I guess, stuff happens. She looked really sad. And then like I asked for water to the girl in the window, and she's like, "Oh, can you get them water?" to the girl that was sad, right? And the girl like sticks her head out the window. She's like, "Merry Christmas." I'm like, "Okay, buddy, you can back up, please." Like, her head was literally about to come in my car. I was like, "Bro, back the hell up, buddy. Like, you need to chill out." It was honestly just so funny because I was just chilling. It was like late at night. It was like not that late actually. It was like 9 o'clock. But like her head popped out the window. She's about to like kiss me. I was like, oh, I dodged it. And I was like, holy shit. And it was just so funny, man. I was like, me and my brother started laughing because we left In-N-Out and we're like, what the hell was that? But yeah, that was funny. You know what's the craziest thing? We're about to go to Orlando, and I've never even been there. Like, I've never met any of these cousins, so it's gonna be like super awkward. You know what I mean? Like, meeting family is always awkward. Like, you walk in, you're just like, hello, you're supposed to say hello, and then like, what's the conversation supposed to be? Like, some generic stuff like, oh, like, what grade are you in, or what are your hobbies, and all this other stuff. Like, the usual, but it's always kind of cringe unless there's something else with it. You know what I mean? That's what's important. You gotta have something else with it. Like, if you're doing something with family, it usually hits different than when you're doing stuff with friends. I don't know. It just depends. But yeah. Oh, and also, my brothers watched the Star Wars movie. They gave it a bad rating. They said it's whack. Star Wars. I didn't even know the Star Wars The Last Jedi came out in 2017. Like, I had no idea at all. I just realized it's like a few days ago that there was a Star Wars The Last Jedi. And then the one that just released is Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And that's just the last movie. Like, that's just weird. Just the last movie of Star Wars. But honestly, I'm not really a Star Wars movie fan. Like, they're good movies, I think, but like, I'm not really that like fanboy over them. But the game, that hits different. Like, Star Wars Battlefront 2, man, they saved that game, man. It deadass went from just a piece of trash to like the most legendary game like this year, I think, because I play and it's honestly so fun. Like, it has that like that super like action packed type of feel to it because there's so much chaos in that game, but it's honestly just nuts. But yeah, and on top of that, they said it was whack because it was super like predictable. You know what I mean? That's why it was whack, because you could predict what was gonna go or what was gonna happen in the movie. And like, I'm cool with that, but like, I don't know, there's something inside me that doesn't like it when people lose. Like, the villains win. There's something weird about that. Like, when the villains win, it's like, what? That's it? Like, that's the ending? Like, they didn't succeed in what they were supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want the person, for me at least, I kind of want the movie to end how I expect it to end. Even though it's really weird. Because, honestly, like, how many movies are you going to drop that are like different plots? Like, at the end of the day, like, someone's a good person, and then they're either gonna win or they're either gonna lose. There's nothing much more than that, but it is what it is, man. Also, since it's right in front of me, I've been smacking on these RX bars. I think I'm addicted to these things because they taste like Snickers or Milky Way. Like, they taste like candy, but they're not. They're like the exact opposite. All they have inside it, I have the wrapper right in front of me. 3 egg whites, 6 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates. That's it. That's all that's inside them. And there's some unflavored chocolate in it, which is actually weird. Like, the chocolate in the protein bar has no flavor in it at all. Like, it's not sweet. It's bitter. The chocolate's bitter, but it tastes like really good. Like, it adds to the texture, which is weird, but like I'd much rather prefer it with chocolate instead of without chocolate. It's a strange thing. Like you start liking it, even though there's no flavor in it. Like it's bitter. The chocolate just makes it like the texture feel good in your mouth, and I don't know why it tastes good too. Like that texture in your mouth tastes good. It's crazy, man. It's weird as hell. So, this semester actually also wrapped up. Man, it's crazy because like when you think about it, like what's the average age for someone? Like probably like, as I'm gonna estimate like 60, 70-ish, around that range. I'm 17 years old right now. Like that's what's insane. Like I live till I'm 60-ish. Like that, like assuming I don't get like shot or something, or I get killed in a car accident. But like that's insane. Like some people live to that age. It's just damn. Like I feel like right now the biggest problems for me are definitely things like high school and just I guess trying to finish school and like get a job and like the basic stuff that like someone my age would worry about. But like that's such a small fraction of my life, you know what I mean? Like when you're 70 years old, if you subtract 17 from 70, okay, we'll be super conservative just like a prove a point, but 70 minus 20, let's say you're 20 years old and you're like, man, life sucks and all this other stuff. 70 minus 20 is 50 years left. Like you have 50 years left to do whatever the hell you wanted to do. And I think, I have a theory. I think that life will obviously speed up because the older you get, the smaller a year is in terms of a fraction of your life, the smaller a fraction it becomes. So like when you're 2 years old, a year's just half your life. So that's like forever. But when you're like 70, it feels way smaller. Like it feels like I feel like when I'm 50, I'm going to forget everything about what's happening right now. That's what's crazy to me. That's what's scary to me. That's why I have these podcasts. Like that's like all of this, everything that you know in this moment is just going to be over, right? So all you have is either the photos, the videos, or the things you make now that you can look back to later. You know what I mean? It's been 5 months since we've made the first podcast, and it's kind of like it's weird and sad in a way because like I know as soon as high school ends, like it's gonna be a shift in my life. Like I feel like we all have shifts in our life, even though nothing literally happens. It might be whatever. Like you start eating healthier, you start exercising, or a moment or an experience like change your perspective on life. So now you think a whole different way. Like if you go back 4 months ago, my mindset and my health mentally is so much more different. And that's what's weird. Because even though I'm not, it's not a physical number that's changing. Like even in like the span of 3-4 months, I'll change the way I act. Like I'll be a completely different person. Because all I do is all day long, I have an addiction to like podcasts and protein bars. Like all I do, it's the weirdest thing ever. Like I don't even pay attention to music or podcasts when I'm at the gym or doing work, but like I need them in the background. It's like a psychological thing. It's really weird. That's just the weirdest thing ever. Like I don't even know what they're saying in the podcast half the time, but I still like it in the background. Like it's like it has to be there. And like even when I sleep, for example, I have to have a fan on like all the time. Like literally when the fan stops and it's really quiet, like I don't know what it is, but like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that can relate to this. I start freaking out. Like I'm like, what's going on? Like it's sort of like this like awkwardness, you know what I mean? Like when it's really quiet, because when in life are you really like ever quiet, you know what I mean? Like it's not really ever quiet. That's why it feels weird just to like be laying on your bed still and like not hearing anything and not being stimulated by something. Like at least when you sit outside, there's cars or there'll be like birds, or like you're walking. Like go outside or sit in your room and just stand there, and it's like super it's like unsatisfying. Like you need something in the background to make you like satisfied or whatnot. But that's just how I am. And I know some people even like one of my friends. He has a noise machine. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, at this point, I think like there's like apps for everything. Like there's like people thought delivery apps like Grubhub or DoorDash were like new inventions they created. Like that shit's been out since like 2010 or 2009. Like these people have been on it. You just have been so caught up in like Instagram and all this other stuff that you don't even pay attention to it. And there's like, and then there's, I just lost my train of thought. I don't even know where I was going with that. But yeah, like I think, like especially with Grubhub and DoorDash, like those things have been around for a while. Like definitely a while because people jump on ideas so fast. It's honestly nuts. Like there's an idea for almost everything. There's like, I didn't even know this, but you can like, there's apps for basically everything. Like if you need food delivered to your house, there's an app. To get rides, there's an app. To rent people's houses, there's an app. You can even, I don't know the details on this, but there's apparently an app to rent people's cars for like a day. That's actually dope as hell. But it's probably a little bit more complicated than that because you have to trade insurance and whatnot. But like, if you just get the gist of it, it's just you basically having someone else's car. For their day, basically. And you're just chilling, driving in their car. Sorry for that little pause in the podcast. I just had to do something. We're getting ready for the Orlando trip right now, and I didn't pack anything. But the flight's tomorrow at 10 p.m. So it's really like clutch because I can spend the entire day tomorrow just getting everything ready. And man, I suck at like I always do this packing stuff last because I honestly don't know why. Like I just do it at the end. It's always been like that the past like 2 or 3 trips. I always wait till like the last day to get everything I need. I remember I clutched it because we were going to Pakistan one time, July 2018, and I needed a cable because in Pakistan they don't have like any of this technology we have, obviously, like, but like they didn't have, I didn't think they would have the cables I needed and whatnot to like charge my laptop and everything like that. And I made this clutch drive to Best Buy, and like my parents were already mad for some reason because like traveling's super stressful and there's a bunch of like bullshit you have to go through just to get like from point A to point B, like all the checking in and make sure you have everything, and then not getting charged extra fees and all this other bullshit. But I think you get the point. But anyways, my dad's pissed and my mom's kind of mad, and there's like some issues going on because we're about to leave for Pakistan for like 3-4 weeks, and so like we have to pack everything right now and we can't forget anything important. So like they're like measuring and weighing everything, and they're trying to like even out all those suitcases so we don't get charged fees and whatnot. And I had to get the cable, right, but no one was taking me, so I made this clutch. I Ubered because I didn't have my license back then, and I Ubered, and it was like the scariest Uber of my life. Like I swear I was freaking out because I knew my parents told me, no, we can't, I'm not taking you. They said that, and I asked them, I was like, I need the cable, and they're like, no, we're not gonna take you. We have to get this, all these bags in, checked in and everything like that, and get them ready for the flight and whatnot. So I got the Uber, and it was like risky as hell, and I went, and I came back, and we had the cables. And long story short, we didn't really need the cable. See, I just forgot where I was going with this. Where was I going with this? Oh, traveling. How I suck at it. Yeah, that's what this is about. So yeah, like I said, I last minute drove to get the in the Uber, of course, to get the cable, and it was a really stupid move. But like in the end, we didn't even need it because like me and my brother thought they didn't have Wi-Fi in Pakistan or something. Like we thought it was that bad. Like they wouldn't have Wi-Fi or stuff like that because they don't really, because we, like in that type of country, like what are you gonna do all day? You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna have iPads and iPhones, and your assignments for school or work, it's not gonna be that much computer related. But then, I was definitely wrong because when we got there, they had these little Zong devices that had like the Wi-Fi in them. That was crazy too. And, you know, I just got wild because they had all this technology, and I thought my brother, I didn't think that. I didn't think that they didn't have Wi-Fi. Like, I figured, like, they would have at least Wi-Fi, you know? But my brother thought they didn't have Wi-Fi. Like, he dead ass on the first day, he asked our uncle, like, do you guys have Wi-Fi? And he's like, no, we live in a village or some shit. Like, obviously we have Wi-Fi. But yeah, that was pretty funny. And now we're going to Orlando. I don't even know what to expect. Like I said, there's a bunch of random. Our cousins from Texas are going to Orlando, and we're going to Orlando from California too. So now it's like hella cousins in one spot, and I've never met any of these people in my life. But like I like traveling, even if it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like I feel like I look back at like when I traveled and did fun shit in my life way more than things. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. Like you get this like quick high from buying things, but then it fades away really quickly. Like from, and whether it be eating junk food or drinking alcohol or doing whatever it is, most of the time it goes away, that high that you get, right? You know what I mean? Like for example, when I bought my Apple laptop, like it was like this, it felt really good, but then I realized it's just a tool. Like it's just there for me to do schoolwork and whatnot, and that's it. So then it was kind of like a bummer knowing like, damn, like this isn't gonna change my life or make me happy in the way I thought it would. But then trips, like when you're on a trip and you take videos and photos, like that shit is deep. Like that will leave a mark on you forever. Like right, even now, like I'm nostalgic as hell. Like I'll look back at stuff and just be like, damn, I remember my life back then, and I remember this so well. And then like I'll have videos and stuff, and that's the worst. Like having, it's kind of like a paradox. You know what I mean? Like when my dog died, I had so many videos of him, and I knew deep down inside, like if I watch these videos, it's gonna keep reminding me that he's not there. But like it feels so good to just watch those videos because like it makes me so happy because, you know, he'll be playing and having fun and all this stuff. But like it's kind of a paradox because in the end, when you watch all these videos and all this stuff, it's not that good for you. It's like better to not forget but sort of move on, you know? It's kind of weird. Like people say never forget, but like is it good? Like sometimes it's good to forget, no? Or you kind of live with it for the rest of your life. Like damn it, like that's why I think people think forgiveness is good. That shit's hard. Like forgiving, especially when someone does something bad to you, like really bad to you, it's hard to forgive someone. Because like but like it's hard to forgive because you're just so caught up in that moment, and then you're, especially like if something crazy, like someone, you know, killed a family member, and that shit's like a new type of level hard, you know? Like it's even hard sometimes to forgive people even when they messed up, because like you try to argue with them or you try to prove a point, and I did, or at least done a good job in these past few months. Shout out Joe Rogan podcast, just podcasts in general. Mostly the Joe Rogan podcast. I feel like Joe Rogan has some solid ass advice. But I realize like a lot of arguments, when you really think about them, what are you getting out of them? You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds cliche as hell, but like when you break it down, usually an argument's just two people trying to confirm something. They're not trying to learn. You know what I mean? Like a debate. You know, when you have a debate, especially like political, I think political debates are kind of stupid because, again, you're trying to confirm your own opinion. You're not here to learn anything. And I think in a debate, there should be like an even level of, okay, I'm going to try to convince this person to agree with me, but also I'm going to understand like, okay, when am I like messing up myself? Like, when am I screwing it up for myself because I can take this chance to learn something, you know what I mean? And it's crazy, like politics especially is crazy, especially now that Trump's impeached. The fact that Trump's impeached now is insane, but like not as insane as I thought it would be. Like I thought he was gone because everyone's like, he's impeached, and before I was kept thinking to myself like, does impeach mean he's gone? Like that's what I thought the first time the news article showed it and everything like that, and I was like, holy shit, like he's gone. Like I remember the day or the morning after Trump won. Like, I woke up and my mom was like doing laundry. She's like, yeah, Trump won. And I was like, damn. But I didn't really give a shit because then it wasn't going to change my life in any way. Like, that's the funniest thing about politics is that unless you're like some Andrew Yang head ass, like, these politicians don't care about you. And I'm not saying Andrew Yang doesn't care about you, but I'm saying, like, I think Andrew Yang does care about people because of what he's saying. But, like, I'm not really an economist, so I don't know all the details about what he's saying. But, like, I think that shit's going to affect everybody. That's what's crazy about this election and not the last Trump election. Because the Trump election, for me at least, like, we live decent, like, we're, like, upper middle class, I guess. And we don't really deal with any other problems of poverty, which is a blessing in itself. But it's like, why would I vote, or why would I even care about politics? Like, 90% of the time, nothing affects me. You know what I mean? Or that's what my thought process was as a kid. You know, like the past two elections, where I could actually like form a thought and wasn't just living life just randomly. And when I could actually think about it right now, there's no like politicians that actually cared to do a change that's like super dramatic that's gonna affect everybody. Like, I want Andrew Yang to win. Like, I don't know the economy, the economist perspective of it, because there's a lot of people saying like he can't pay for like his freedom dividend or his UBI or whatever it is. And then there's some people saying like, oh, like he's saying it's possible, and he's like trying to give information as to how it's possible. It's still kind of risky, but like, it is what it is, you know. But that if he wins, like, that's gonna affect everybody. Like, I'm gonna have $1,000 every month, so $12,000 a year. Like, and I'm gonna turn 18, so I'm gonna be able to vote for the next election. I'm definitely going to vote for Andrew Yang, probably, only because I know I'm not really a Trump fan, but like, I don't know, I feel like what a lot of Democratic folks are saying is like a huge turnoff. Like, just to make me vote for them would be really hard, because I watch some videos that are very critical of these people, and they're not biased in, maybe they are, like, obviously there's gonna be, no one's gonna be 100%, or I should say 50% in the middle, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna either be at closer to 0 or 100, you know? You're not gonna be at 50%. In terms of your opinion on politics, right? So, I realized that voting conservative is kind of pointless because we live in California. I live in California, so, like, it's kind of a waste of my time. I'll probably still do it just to get the experience, you know? That'd be dope to, like, go out and vote for the first time. But I think I'll probably vote Andrew Yang. You know what I mean? I think he seems to be a genuine guy. I've seen lots of videos of him. I look into him, and it seems like what he's going to do is actually going to, affect everybody. So everybody has a point in participating to vote and whatnot, because I know voter turnout is like really low because of, I'm not sure exactly why, but I'd assume it's because of the way our country works with the Electoral College, and the fact that if more people in California are going to vote Democrat, the Electoral College votes are going to go to the Democratic candidate, right? So I think that turns off a lot of people who are conservative from voting. And I might be butchering this, I'm sorry, I don't know politics too well, but hopefully I can go to college and learn about it. Because I'm trying to major in political science, because I think politics is kind of dope, but like, that's going to be I'm going to do a dual major. Like, I'm not going to major just in politics. And I'm not sure about my future life plans for now, but yeah, I think as of now, Andrew Yang's my guy. Like, I might have to vote for him, you know? I feel like that $1,000 a month, I don't know how much it's going to work. You know what's weird? Like, wouldn't people stop working if they got $1,000 a month? You know what I mean? Like, if I was getting $1,000 a month, why would I ever go back to work? Or why would I work as hard? Like, I'm getting paid. And his theory is that people are going to go out and spend the money, which makes sense. Like, if everyone had $1,000, I think people would go out and spend it. Buy things they need. Diapers, pay for their rent, get food, like healthy food, buy medicine. Actually, healthcare is also part of Andrew Yang's plan, so he's going to give us healthcare. I want to be totally honest with you. I don't know how you can afford all this stuff, but I'm not an economist, so I'm still skeptical, obviously, because that's just stupid. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to vote Andrew Yang, even though his economics don't make sense. They don't really make that much sense to me, because I feel like who's paying? Have you ever wondered, like, who's paying for all this shit? Like, who's paying for it? Because I'm not paying for it, right? Like, why would I pay for you to give me something right back? Why can't I just buy my own healthcare? You know who is paying for it? The rich. Whoever the rich. How much money do the rich people even have? That's the real question. Like, do rich people really have that much money? Because I don't think they have that much money. The amount of money that they have is a lot, but I don't think can, from my perspective, I don't think can fund people for the rest of their lives until they're dead for free healthcare and all these benefits. You know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense. It's confusing. Like, you take away all these people's wealth, and then they're not gonna expand their businesses and whatnot. I'm not defending billionaires. Like, I think they should be taxed. We should tax the shit out of. I never understood why we don't tax the shit out of them. Like, do we? I don't know. Like, do businesses get? I know businesses get taxed a lot, but Amazon, they paid $0 in federal income tax. 0. Like, that's insane. Like, that's not even fair. I wonder how much my dad pays in federal income tax. Definitely more than 0, though. That's unfair. Like, you have a $1 billion company and you're not paying anything in federal income tax? Like, what? Just imagine being that rich. Imagine being Jeff Bezos, that rich. What do you even do all day? You know what's crazy? These people are power hungry. These people, I think what drove them to get there was this intrinsic motivation to have power. But once they got there, they didn't stop. Like, have any of the billionaires stopped? Like, none of them have stopped at all. Because at that point, it's just like, I want more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you'll never ever truly be satisfied in life. You're always going to want more. And that's why I'm a fan of living cheap. You know what I mean? Like, I used to drive a 2002 Toyota Corolla, and although it sounds stupid, or like, it's like, oh, I would never drive that car, it was perfect. Like, I don't know, it was like this weird connection I had with the car, and I really liked it a lot. And even though it was like, compared to a lot of the other cars, like, my dad was offering me the Hyundai Elantra that we have, but we got another car, so in total we have 4 cars, because there's 4 people that are driving all over the place, right? And I had a Toyota Corolla 2002, and I really liked the Toyota Corolla, and I was like, I don't want to upgrade. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like, I didn't want to upgrade. Like, for example, I don't know why, but I have an iPhone 7, but I don't want to upgrade. Like, I like to buy things that will serve their purpose and not require me to upgrade them later. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm a fan of having things like, and even though it's expensive, I'm not saying it's cheap. I think it's cool to have like a MacBook Pro, because there's resale value. People will buy this stuff because they know it's good quality. Even though Apple's a scam, like, they're 100% a scam. Like, they're scamming so many people. Even though, like, people are buying into it, they're still finessing the system. Like, I don't blame them. Scams maybe not the best word to use, but I don't blame them, because they're doing a good job at getting people to buy stuff that they don't need. And it's definitely like a top tier product. Like, you're not gonna, if you have AirPods, like, you're somewhat paid if you have AirPods. Like, there's no way you can drop $140 on a pair of headphones and be broke. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But maybe you're broke because you bought the expensive headphone. I don't really know. But honestly, AirPods, even though they get a lot of hate, I like them. Because the weird thing about them is that they can't, like, you can't damage them the way you could damage wired headphones. You know what I mean? Like having AirPods, and like I was saying, I don't like buying nice things, but like, for example, I like having nice technology only because that technology lasts a really long time. You know what I mean? Like having a nice car, a lot of things can serve the same purpose as a car. You know what I mean? I might not have all the bells and whistles, but like my 2002 Toyota Corolla, like that's all I ever needed. But then I didn't want to upgrade to the Hyundai Elantra, even though it was from 2018, a car that's literally 16 years newer, which would obviously be better. I didn't want to upgrade. But now that I have the Elantra, I wanna keep it. Like I don't want to go back to the Toyota Corolla. You know what I mean? So now I've like sort of set this minimum or barrier of what I can't go below, because then you start realizing how bad it is. And that's just weird because like I was genuinely trying to keep the Toyota Corolla back then. This is about a few months ago when my dad tried to shift me to the Hyundai Elantra. I tried going back to the Toyota Corolla because I like to stay in that car. But over time, I kind of adapted. And once I adapted, I was like, you know what? Like I don't want the other car anymore, because the weird thing about cars or just things in general is you have to modify them. Like every time you have to modify it to make it work, whether it be a laptop or a controller or a desk or a screen. Like it could be whatever. You have to modify it to make it work for you. So once I figure out a car, I like to keep that car. Like I don't like to change because it requires this phase of relearning everything for something I don't need to learn in that moment. You know what I mean? Like I have enough stuff to learn in my life, and trying to figure out how this car works, not good at all. Like I was backing out my dad's BMW. Holy shit. Like that was the most complicated. Like I got in there and I was confused. Like I didn't understand how to shift to park or to drive, because like it was kind of confusing a little bit. And when I first drove it, I was trying to back it out of the garage, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like I was like super confused that like, and the car was beeping and all this stuff, like warning me like, oh, don't hit the side of the car, don't hit the back, because it beeps a lot, just to keep the driver, wary of what they're doing, to prevent them from like hitting something, obviously. And like it was super confusing, and I didn't really like driving it. It's probably a great car. I'm not saying it's a bad car. A BMW is definitely probably a great car, but compared to the adapting phase of it, it was just really like annoying. Like I didn't like to drive it, so I was just like, yeah, I think I'll just stick to my old car, like, or my Hyundai Elantra. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't upgrade. My dad was like, hey, you want to upgrade to the BMW? I'd honestly say no, I'm good, just because of the pain. Like the pain in the ass factor is really important. If it's a big pain in the ass to adapt to it or whatnot, then it gets really annoying. Like, you know what I hate the most about the BMW? The doors. They're the heaviest doors I've ever, out of any car we've had. I think that might be the hardest door to open, because the doors are so thick and so like heavy, and you have to like really push it. Like it's not like an easy to open door, and that's what's kind of frustrating for me, at least, because that's, again, like I said, I'm more of a like features type of guy. I like when it's comfortable. I like things when they're comfortable, and so I don't like it when I have to like push the door open, like, and yeah, I might be weak or whatever, but still, I don't like to push the door open. Like it's kind of a pain in the ass to push this heavy ass door open every time you need to get in and out of your car, and I honestly do not like it at all. Like I'd much rather just drive my Hyundai Elantra. Way more easier, in terms of like how it functions, like how I can get in and get out quick as possible. You know what I mean? Like I don't like, for example, in my Hyundai Elantra, one thing that gets me mad is that every time I plug in my phone, it'll play the podcast or music or whatever I've been listening to, like on AirPods. It has a really good, like, it's really intuitive. Like it's fluid, and I can shift to the car really quickly, which is nice. But shifting back to the AirPods is kind of a pain in the ass, because the radio, I don't know how to turn it off, right? Because I don't know. And so I kind of have been driving this car without knowing how to turn off the radio. So I'm constantly like, every time I pull my phone off the charger to get out of the car, the radio just starts blasting. I don't know why. I put my podcast at like volume 20, 25-ish, depending if I'm on the freeway. and every time I take out the wire on my phone, the podcast turns off like you'd expect, but then the radio starts blasting. It's the most annoying thing ever. I don't know how to turn. I should figure out how to turn it off because it's a pain in the ass. But like, figuring out how to turn it off is also a pain in the ass. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I like cars that are just smooth, that work quick. That's why I'm gonna get a Tesla Model 3. Like, one day I'm probably gonna get it. I think I will. I like that car a lot. Like, it's super simple, minimalistic. That's why I want it like pretty badly. I wanted my dad to get a Tesla Model 3 way more than a BMW because I knew it's so much more clutch. You don't even have to go to the gas station. I hate going to the gas station. I know this is a diatribe. This is what this whole podcast kind of is, a diatribe. Somewhat of a diatribe. But I really don't like going to the gas station. It's just super weird. Super weird. Like, it's just sketchy. I get a sketchy vibe from going there every time. But anyways, yeah, that's my issue with transferring to new cars, because you basically set this boundary for what you can't go below, and you have to be higher than that boundary. So now that I'm adapted to Hyundai, it's really hard for me to go back to the Corolla because I already mastered the Hyundai. You know what I mean? I already mastered the way it works and what to expect in the car. That's why I like to know what to expect. When I know what I can expect, it's easy to do. It's simpler. Like my teacher, Mr. Line, that I did a podcast with a few months ago. His class is super simple. Like, it's the exact same assignments every day. And that's what I like, because I know what to expect. So if I'm absent, I already know. Video, notes, worksheet. Video, notes, worksheet. Video, notes, worksheet. Quiz, notes, video. Like, it's that simple. Like, the formula is always going to be the same most of the time. And it's predictable, so it's simple. And on top of that, this is why every time I go, they think I'm weird at Chipotle, because I go to Chipotle and I'll do online ordering, right? And they think I'm like crazy or something because I go there every day, right? But every time I do online ordering, I know guaranteed they're going to half-ass the burrito. Like, I know they're going to half-ass the burrito somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, online ordering food is never going to be as good as when you get it made there. When you get it made for here. The presentation's nicer. The experience overall is just so much better. When you do online ordering, a lot of the times they give you a set time, right? Like, let's say it's 5:10, and they're like, okay, the food's gonna be ready at 5:30. You don't know when they're gonna make the food, right? Or like when they're gonna prepare your burrito or bowl. So when you get there, your food's gonna be sitting there. It's gonna be cold by the time you get it. And on top of that, the thing I don't like is when they mess up my order. That's what gets that gets me livid. Like, when they mess up my order. I'm not saying I'm gonna freak out and go absolutely nuts in the Chipotle I'm at when they mess up my order. That's not what I'm saying at all. But like, I prefer to just get it right. And I realize sometimes you gotta just put it in your own hands. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go to Chipotle, online order, but I always tell them to make it in front of me every time I go, because I like it when it's made right in front of me and I can see what you're doing. Because it's like a psychological thing. If someone's watching you make their burrito, you're not gonna half-ass the burrito in front of them. You know what I mean? But when they're not watching, when nobody's even around you and you're making it in the corner by yourself, you can put like half chicken. It doesn't even matter. Like, they're not gonna know. It's a burrito, so it's wrapped up. See, that's a little bit of street smarts right there, because they'll finesse you on the portions. That's what I hate, when they finesse you on the portions, because I notice online order is definitely not the same as regular order. When I'm right in front of them, they have to make it in front of me. So just a life pro tip: when you go out to eat, make that shit in front of me. All right, like, tell them I want this in front of me. When you go out to eat, obviously, like, you're not gonna do this at Cheesecake Factory because they don't make the food in front of you. But like, if you're at Biology or Chipotle and you do online ordering, try to make sure you see what's going on your pizza or your burrito or whatever it is before they mess it up, and then, you know, dump the pizza in the trash, and then you have to wait longer. That's just my opinion, though. You know, I like I said, I try to avoid the situation before it happens, because, you know, it's somewhat in my control. Like, I can just go there and be like, yeah, I order a burrito online, but I'd like it to get it made here, please. And then they'll be like, okay, and then they just make it in front of you. They don't half-ass any of the portions, because I know a lot of times online ordering always, or at least to go, I should say, to be fair. Online ordering and to go, they always, somehow they mess up the portions. Like, they'll give you, like, way less chicken than they would give you when you were right in front of them, because they get scared. They're like, oh, Ollie's here. And then they give you extra chicken because they know they come here every day, and it's kind of weird, so they just give you extra chicken. But yeah, that's the move. Definitely the move. Damn. 56 minutes. 56 minutes, guys. We just hit 56 minutes. But anyways, guys, thanks for coming on this podcast. I'm gonna do this way more often, just to chill and talk and document everything. Sort of like a journal, you know? It's like a journal, but audio form of my journal. That's what it is. I think it's dope. I like single podcasts, but I'm totally down to have conversations with anybody. Like, honestly, I've been tempted to do single podcasts, like with one person, you know? That's dope. Because I've been doing group podcasts, and those are dope too. I always have a good time doing podcasts. Like, podcasts are usually always really fun, but like, the biggest struggle I have with podcasts is getting people to open up. That's the hard part. Getting people to just chill out. Like, yeah, you're being recorded and it's going on YouTube, but like, speak your mind and be, I guess, easygoing about everything, you know? Like, don't take anything too serious. Take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, anyways, our Orlando trip is tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'm gonna get this uploaded just because I feel like I should be doing these way more. I wait too much and it leads to regret. You know, I'd rather make something than nothing at all. And I think it's, even though the quality might not be the world's best, like, I might not be talking about the world's greatest topics or whatever, it's still nice for me in the future to chill and just listen to this stuff, because I got this idea from another podcast I listen to, Whiskey Ginger. Dude, honestly, I love that podcast so much, with Andrew Santino. Basically just a comedian, and he does these solo he only has 3 of them, but like, every solo podcast I've listened to, I like it a lot. Like, it's pretty interesting to just hear someone talk for an hour about like whatever, just ramble on about random stuff. And you know, I kind of got influenced to do this because of that, and I like it. You know, it's a solo podcast, but it's still gonna be dope. So anyways, guys, I just want to wrap this up. I talked about so much. My dog, tipping, I forgot, man. Like, it went from everything. But yeah, I guess that's it, guys. Trip tomorrow to Orlando. I'm gonna get lit. I'm gonna probably take hella videos and upload a video. I don't know. Uploading videos is kind of a pain in the ass. I like podcasts because they're just so simple to upload. It takes like 20-30 minutes to go on YouTube. Sometimes longer, but if I have technical issues. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. If you did get this far, you basically just hit 59 minutes. Last minute thoughts, none really. We just finished the first semester of senior year. We only have a few months left to go until I graduate. I'm excited what life has in store for me right now, but I hope everyone who's listening is the best. I wish you the best of luck in everything you do. Good luck in all your life endeavors. And if you're listening to this, comment when you're listening to this, because I think it's weird when someone comments like, "Oh, I'm listening to this in like 2019, right?" And then it gets up, and then it's like 20 years later, and it's like, holy shit, like, that person was from 2019. I wonder where they're at now. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment. I definitely want to read your comments, good or bad. Comment, let me know what's up, guys. Chill, be safe, have a good Christmas. And yeah, I'm out, guys. Thanks.